Then I have Next Gen Paranormal doing one of the weekends. Night Stalkers Paranormal, which is our home team, will be there. And then Proof After will be there for the final weekend.
Okay. Do you allow people to bring their own equipment in, or do you
Some
turn them
people
loose, or it's all
do.
just guided?
It's guided. We do a free roam towards the end of the night because a lot of those are novice hunters. We do have a lot of repeat seasoned investigators that come to the novice hunt because I mean, the hall is the hall, and any opportunity that some people can get to be there, they do.
Okay.
And we
Uh,
do offer private investigations for seasoned paranormal teams. A lot of people don't read I don't want to call it fine print, but um, we require a team having at least 2 years experience together. We don't let solo investigators come in. It's not safe. I don't think any location should do that. That's just my personal opinion, not slamming anybody. Um, because we're in Franklin, Kentucky, which, the house is on 300 acres of land. It's in the more rural part of the county. And we have coyotes, snakes, bears, Bigfoot, Dogman.
you ever have anybody go up there for go squatching?
We've had a few people. So Dave Spinks, I know you might know who Dave is. Dave has he's a Bigfoot guy. Dave has the bases covered, and he's a very big supporter of Octagon Hall, and he was a good friend of Bears. They've had several. He's got pictures. I don't have those with me. I'm sorry, but they've all had Bigfoot experiences out there. I had Ed Brown stop by to visit me, and I've had a Bigfoot experience there that kind of. First off, I'll tell you this:
Okay.
I'm not a small woman, but there was 5 women out there, and they all tried to fit through the back door with me in the middle of them, and it didn't go well. I was a lot thinner afterwards. And I'm like, okay, I get it. That was my first Bigfoot experience there. I've had multiple experiences down and back home in Georgia, but I, the hall, like we like to say, the hall has it all. Little background on Octagon Hall: it sits on the 37th parallel and also the Giza line. The builder was a 33rd degree Mason, so it's strategically located.
What is there any past history of the grounds?
Yes, it's ancient Palo Indian ground.
Palo Indian. Okay.
Yep. And funny fact about Kentucky, trust me, everyone should know Kentucky is very weird, and it always has been. The Indians didn't really like to live here, but they loved to hunt in Kentucky because it was plentiful in buffalo and elk. And Kentucky is actually derived from an Indian word, which is Kentuck, and it means something like dark, bloody waters or dark waters.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, you should. It's a very good hunt. A lot of investigators have cut their teeth at Octagon Hall over the years. I'm not, saying it because I love it, but I love it. And I haven't always been here. I didn't move up here until March of 23, but I had been coming up here because I was a volunteer at Waverly Hills. I was driving to Louisville like 3 times a month um, to volunteer there. I've been on staff at Old South Pittsburgh. So I've been at some great locations and donated my time to a lot of historic locations that don't want to be known as haunted locations.
Right. Uh, where is exactly is this located in Kentucky?
So if right after you come in 65, well, 24 to 65, um, it is right across the state line from Tennessee. And it's the first city right after Portland, Tennessee.
Okay.
And it is
This
a
is,
smaller place.
mhm. And it's right there just north of Tennessee then.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes from Nashville.
Oh, 45 minutes from Nashville. That's a pretty good metropolitan area.
Yep.
Pretty well puts you on the map there. Uh, how much do you charge if a paranormal group wanted to come in there? You know, more than one, obviously. You're not going to let one person go through. But if
Right.
they've got, 4, 5, 6 people, how many do you let in at once? Do you have a limit? Do you limit 10 or limit 6 or 8 or what?
We do. We don't recommend we strictly max out at 10 people. We recommend smaller groups because you get more interaction. But
Yes.
the starting out, we're very affordable, and we have been for years. We've been one of the more affordable locations. We just went up on our pricing after 20 years back in November. It's $500 for up to 6 people, and each additional person up to 10 is 75 per person. But here's the thing. You get the hall from 3 p.m. till 8 a.m. the next morning.
What? Can
Yes.
you repeat that?
From 3 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That they didn't even flashlights, a millimeter, and lunch and breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, you're there and you're free to go have supper if you want to. I only live 6 miles from the property, so I'm always available.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a good deal in today's world, and
Oh yeah.
that's the longest I've heard. For a ghost hunt in any location.
Yeah. That's the one thing. So I won't babble too much. So the museum was founded in 2001 by Mr. Billy Bird. He was a Simpson County native. He was the head of the Historical Society for many years. He was an anthropologist. He did a lot of stuff here in Simpson County, and he wanted to preserve Octagon Hall. And he did that. He started the Octagon Hall Foundation, and he didn't realize it was haunted when he first got there. And he was very good friends with Barry Gaunt, which that's our beloved bear. And he was a father figure to me. And he had 47 years in the paranormal game, like a supernatural. He covered it
That
all.
that's a long
You,
time.
yeah. Well, his first investigation was with Hans Holzer.
Ooh, okay.
And Bear was a wealth of knowledge and a mentor to many, many people in the paranormal community.
Okay. Well, Chris Harlan, another question. Let's add to it. How many floors are available for investigations, and how many rooms are in the total building?
In the building, so it's 3 floors. That's including the basement. And if you want to get technical, there's probably 4 because I count the attic and the cupola as a floor. So each floor has 4 rooms. And there's only one room that is not accessible. It's in the basement, and that's our tool room. So other than that, it's the whole house. Then there is a summer kitchen outside, as well as a family cemetery and a slave cemetery.
Okay. The house was built in 1847, I believe, from your website.
Yes. I'm actually continuing the book. My dad and I were writing the book for Octagon Hall, and I'm very much about the facts. By the time I'm done writing the book, no one will have to do research because it will have every document you need in the book. So there is a lot of discrepancies in different areas. Now, we say 1847. For some reason, the city says 1860. There's no way the house could have been built in 1860. There were graves on the property from way before the Civil War, even. And an architect from Nashville came in the 20s He stated he felt like the house was started being built in 1843, 1844.
Well, he could be right, and it just finished in 47. That would make
Yeah,
sense, actually.
and that's what I always thought it was a little bit earlier. And then there's more. The more research you do, and like I said, I'm like a hound dog. I need everything. I found some documentation. So they used to think the house was built around the Caldwells. In fact, it wasn't. They actually had a house across the street that they lived in until it was built.
Hmm. What happened there during the Civil War, or just get bypassed?
No, the Civil War did affect the house. So there were no battles fought on the property, and there are some people that like, oh, there was battle. There were no battles fought on the property. There were scrimmages on the outskirts of Simpson County, but the hall was affected during the Battle of Bowling Green. A lot of people don't realize that Kentucky was literally brother against brother in some
Yes.
scenarios during the Civil War. But the capital of the Confederacy in Kentucky was Bowling Green, and we're about 15 to 18 miles from Bowling Green.
Okay. Yeah, it was a border state that was, if you look at colored map, is usually not counted as part of the Confederacy or the Union. They put a
Yeah,
different color on there, along with Missouri, because those two states were just, split down the middle. There was no way you could count them on either side.
right. And it was uh so there was a officer by the name of John W. Caldwell, and he just happened to be the first owner and builder, John. Great, I can't talk today. Andrew Jackson Caldwell's nephew. He was part of the Orphan Brigade, or Morgan's Raiders, Morgan's Men, and he brought 9,000 Confederate soldiers to Octagon Hall.
9,000.
At that point, the land was about 1,500 acres.
So they just camped outside. What put the officers inside the building then?
Yeah, they turned it into a hospital. They did amputations in the basement, and they treated some of the more severe patients upstairs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So then, the Confederates decided they needed to go south. They thought the Union would be tied up in Bowling Green, and they made a fatal mistake. They left, and they left their wounded there. Within a day and a half, the Union shows up with 4,000 to 5,000 soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can't hide where 9,000 men were just at. And there was snow on the ground that year.
Oh wow. All kinds of footprints laying around for
Hmm.
people to see. So you just miss having a pretty good battle on the ground.
Yes, because it would have been devastating at that point.
Yes. You got to wonder, be afraid for the building at that point.
Yeah, and here's the thing: that building structurally is amazing. It is the shape of an octagon, but the structure itself is 3 bricks deep.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you're in the house, and if you're there by yourself, it's a whole nother ball game, day or night, because it's very quiet and the acoustics are amazing. There is a group or a band, they're called the Orphan Brigade, and they've recorded a lot of their albums at Octagon Hall.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
How do your spirits react to a band recording an album there?
Well, if you go on YouTube, they wrote a song for one of the daughter that was 11 years old. Her name was Mary Elizabeth. And she caught fire in the winter kitchen, and she lived for 7 days in the house before she passed away. And they go up to the nursery. There's a video of it. They're in the nursery singing to her. And people that were there during that talked about the interaction with the spirit of Mary Elizabeth.
Oh, so is she one of your primary spirits there?
Mary Elizabeth kind of comes and goes. She's not as there as much as she used to be. One of our primary spirits is the second wife, Miss Harriet Caldwell. And she lets you know she's there. She is full of salt and sass.
Well, it's a good thing to have for a location to have a spirit like that.
Oh yeah, and the first wife is there too. She spends a lot of time outside on the property.
I see.
There's a
So,
lot there. There are a lot of spirits.
yeah, I was going to say, you got any males or any Confederate soldiers walking around?
We've got a few Union, a few Confederate. Andrew Jackson Caldwell comes through. There's a lot of male spirits. Some of the slaves, which are among my favorite spirits to interact with. The slave cemetery is my favorite place on the property. It is very peaceful.
I would that I don't have to add Otkin Hall to my bucket list. Hello,
Oh, you'd
Christy
love it.
Rica. Well,
Hi.
it would. I would. I would love it if we went during the daytime and just took a quick daytime tour with my wife and I.
You let me know when you're coming. I'll make sure I'm there.
Okay, because my wife is came from this area, uh, and her ancestors actually came from Louisiana.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, they were of course descended from slaves down in Louisiana and came up here
And
to
that's
Arkansas.
that's a rich area. Arkansas is a very interesting place too. I haven't got to check it out as much as I'd like to, but riding through there, I was making my way to Texas one time and it was my first time driving through Arkansas. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, that's the biggest coyote I've ever seen. And I'm on the phone and all I hear is, don't stop. I'm like, what? That's not a coyote. It's a wolf. I'm like, ooh, I want to pet it.
Wolves are pretty; they're beautiful animals.
Yeah, I love animals anyway. We have groundhogs at the hall that
Oh wow!
I won't let anybody kill. They're my babies and they're destructive, but
Yeah,
and
the wife and I would probably stir up something just by walking in the door.
and that would be a beautiful thing to encounter. There is a slave by the name of Moses. He actually died before the Civil War, and he was the property manager, and he is, oh man, he's a very large man already, but I always feel like, he's a protector of the property.
Does he? If somebody does something wrong, does he sitting there with them, or is
Oh,
he
he shows
welcoming?
up. He's very welcoming unless you do something stupid, and then, you know, they're protecting the property. We're very fortunate because Billy Bird's grandson is the executive director of the foundation. His name is Isaac Jones. And Isaac basically grew up on the property because he was always with his papaw. And Isaac saw a lot of things as a young child. And I very much believe that Isaac interacted with Moses when he was a child.
Okay. By the way, for anybody who's wants to keep track of what we're talking about and look it up, just look up Octagon Hall uh, Museum.com and you can get all the ins and outs and the prices and what they offer there. And you offer quite a bit. That's an amazing price for a team. I'd love to go in there with a team of 4 or 5 picked people.
Oh yeah, and that's why with our novice hunts, we limit to 12 people because it's very overwhelming. And we have to keep a floor in between
Right.
investigations. And so a lot of times we keep a group in the house in one area and then take some people outside if weather is permitting. And most people, we want people to have a personal experience. That's what we're all about.
And that's really cool that you allow that. That's like I said, that's amazing the amount of time you give people there.
Oh yeah, and that's how it's always been. Uh, Billy Bird and Bear, that's what they did. They allowed that because they wanted people to enjoy the hall. And first and foremost, it is a historic location, but it's a paranormal research center as well. And you know, it's important. I think to myself all the time, Like I like to call myself a supernatural researcher. I left paranormal investigator alone a long time ago. And or my dad used to say we were supernaturalist. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I was like, we're not drinking Kool-Aid though. Um, it none of us. There are no experts in this field.
No,
None. And none of us truly can explain things.
no,
Um, we have our theories. I myself, I don't like the term. I don't like labels. I They call me a psychic medium, and I look at myself in the mirror and go, "I'm clearly a 2XL. I haven't been a medium since I was like 10." Um, but I do communicate with spirit, and I do. That's what Soul on Blaze is. I do have an office at the hall, so I am not only the director of operations, I am the house psychic, and I do Reiki healings and spiritual counseling. I love my office. I love being there as much as I can to help others, and it it has given me a chance to grow more. But even doing what I do, I don't have the answers. I'm not an expert. None of us ever will be.
I always thought that if you want to get into the paranormal, do your own research, do your time, and you can form your own opinions about how things work.
Yes, there's no. I know this sounds. I'm a pretty like I. They joke about me saying I'm too hot for TV because I am very truthful. I'm very. Uh, I speak the truth, and people don't like the truth.
No,
We have to do better. Um, Especially some of us as women, we are often overlooked. They Everybody considers us just to be psychics or whatever, but there are some amazing female investigators out there. Two of my I put them on a pedestal because I love them dearly are Miranda Young and Chris Sumner from Scott County Jail and Rugby. Um, they're very passionate people. They're great role models for children, young people, women in the paranormal. And a lot of us get lost in the sauce because we don't carry ourselves like we should.
and Miranda is a super person. She's actually been on the show before. It's been a
Yeah,
while back, but she has been on the show before. She's a great person
she
and
is
has a
amazing.
and she has a very good location.
Yes, she does. I love the jail. I hate that Bear didn't get to go before he passed because that was a location he always wanted to go to. And he he loved Chris and Miranda. And Miranda, so the first time she came to Octagon Hall, she drew this picture of this man. And when she showed it to everybody, they're laughing. Well, she had drawn a picture of Bear. And he pulls up and they're like, "Hey, that guy in that truck wants to talk to you." And she walks over there and realizes that's the guy she drew. um, And there's a picture in here on the wall that she drew of the hall. She is an incredibly gifted artist.
Well, she's gifted in a lot of ways.
Yes. I mean, I consider her family. I actually just talked to her on the phone a little while ago. I was like, crap, I'm sorry. I scheduled a show and I'm going to miss your show.
Chris Hartley said, I honestly think women usually get better evidence than men.
There's some very good men in the field, too, though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because women are the nurturers and creators of life is one of the things why we're more sensitive.
Uh, my wife, she is not an investigator. She puts up with me in it, but she does not go on investigations with me. But a couple of places that we've walked through, child spirits seem to come to her more than
She's
me.
very in tune with the energy.
Yes, and people look at her as a big nanny.
They feel comforted by her.
Yes, they feel very comfortable around her, and they don't feel comfortable around me because I'd never raised a child. I don't. You give me a 2-year-old, and I'm lost in 5 minutes. Totally lost. I wouldn't know what to do.
But here's the
You,
thing:
you,
you may not have raised any kids in this life, Lynn, but that don't mean you didn't in another one.
that's true.
So
You mentioned a little bit about your uh, Souls on Blaze. Did I get that right?
yes.
What is that all about?
So the soul, I tell people all the time, I don't speak to people, I speak to people's souls. I look far deeper than the meat suit, is what I like to
Right.
call it.
That's about
And
what we are anyway.
right. Um, Soul on Blaze came around when I finally accepted my calling. And you know, that's the one thing about us. We got to turn up the light. And, you know, that's when I accepted, the things that I was doing in life and embraced them instead of hiding from them. So that's where
Hmm.
Soul on Blaze came from, because like I said, I'm too hot for everything. So I'm kind of on fire all the time. Uh, and that's where that name came from. I'm a bit of an overachiever. So back home in Georgia, the first team my brother and I founded together, because I was never a team person. I've been investigating since I was 15. Um, and, I laugh all the time because it's gotten way out of hand. You've got people, I've been an investigator since I was 4 months old. I'm like, yeah, spirit fingers. Um, I tell everybody all the time I don't recommend this, and when I talk to young people, because I do work with gifted children, and I used to skip school and go investigate, and the chief of police picked me up in high school, and he calls my mom and dad, and he's like, "Look, you need to come get Beth." Uh, I came and found her out here, and all the other kids were drunk in one area, and she's over there with a recorder, one of the old, cassette tape recorders, push play with a big button and record. And she's over in the corner talking to people that aren't there. And she was like, so you telling me my child was drinking? He said, no, the other people were engaging in those spirits. Your daughter was engaging with spirits of the other kind. But we started Terminus Paranormal together. And then I started volunteering at Old South Pittsburgh. And I did that for a while. And then I am one of the co-founders of the Black Wolf Paranormal, which is myself and Todd and Leanne Eskew. And they handle the Bell Witch Cave, and
Right.
also Trousdale Place in Gallatin. I unfortunately I will actually get to see them tomorrow night. I don't get to do much outside because the hall is my main priority at the moment, and Night Stalkers Paranormal as well.
Okay. Uh, how many people are in Night Stalkers Paranormal since you brought it
Um,
up?
well, Night Stalkers Paranormal was originally Johnny Melton and Bear and a few other people. It was a rather large team. And then Johnny gave it to Bear. And so it was Bear, Melvin, Casey Scruggs, Tanya and Billy Sims, and Steve Miller. But now it's pretty much just me, Tanya, and Billy. Melvin is a Vietnam vet. We call him the hound dog because he is a researcher. But he's gotten up there. He's had some health problems, so we don't take him out in the field anymore. It's just too much for him.
Yeah, Vietnam vet. That makes him older than I am, so I can understand that.
And so the big joke was, so I called Bear Papa and I called Melvin Pops. And at Bear's funeral, I looked at him. I said, well, Pops, you're a single dad now. He goes, it's okay, honey. Bear really wasn't my type anyway. I was like, oh my God. Um, so, and Night Stalkers has been around for a long time. And so we're going to carry on the team. Bear did have a podcast. It was called the Into the Fire podcast. We have retired it, but probably in August, we're going to do a tribute show. And, but we're going to leave it open for people to be able to watch the past shows, the ones that don't disappear.
Right.
It's been a great ride. Todd and Leanne and I, when I started Wicked Woman Paranormal, we partnered with Denise and Ernie Pack. So we had we call it a tour or an event group. It was called the Wicked Wolf Pack. So we've all been around the block a time or two.
The packs are fun people too.
Oh yeah. I've spent many a nights at their house before they moved to the one they're living in now. It's kind of a look. I told them I did get to go up and visit. It's been so much going on. I haven't really had the time to go out and spend time with the people I'd like to, and I sure do miss them all because we're all family. And I went to visit back in April of last year. You got to remember, I'm from Atlanta. You have Sherman's desk in your house. Sherman was a patient in your house. So me and Sherman got in a little back and forth through an EVP. So
we are talking about the general, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
He lit a few matches in Atlanta.
Yeah. And one of the things a lot of people don't know, so about Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta.
Yes.
I've spent a lot of time at Oakland because I love cemeteries, not just because of paranormal investigating. I love the architecture of cemeteries. And people don't realize Margaret Mitchell is buried there. But the house that used to be the office on the property, that house has been there since the Civil War. It belonged to the mayor of Atlanta. And he and his daughter and his family watched Atlanta burn from Oakland Cemetery.
Wow.
Yeah. So sometimes, of course, we can't see what it is now because there's a million buildings. But I go out there and I stand there sometimes and go, wow.
Well, the history that you're looking at.
Yeah,
of course, I've been all over Atlanta, all over the battlefields there, going up Chickamauga. And I did that as a child. I was up there.
I think that's what they did with all of us when we were little. Hey, let's go to the battlefield.
Yeah.
Andersonville. I mean, people don't understand. They ask me all the time, hey, you're not from here, are you? I'm like, no, I'm from Atlanta. They're like, what? I'm from the prison colony. They're like, what does that mean? I was like, Georgia was actually a prison colony.
Yes. Oglethorpe drug people out of prisons and brought them over here.
Andersonville is a prime example.
Mm-hmm. And I'm one of the few people who have been to Andersonville and then did an investigation of Camp Douglas.
Oh, yeah, not many people have done that at all.
I did an all-night investigation, opened it up to the public, and the gentleman who wrote and I will put the capital letters and quotation marks,
right,
owned Camp Douglas. George Levy wrote To Die in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And he broke the book down by the commandants. What happened on the first commandant, then you wrote about that, and then the second commandant, this went on.
Right. And
instead of years, he broke it down by commandant.
Yeah.
And we got some weird things there. Weird lights in the ground. There was a woman there who ran the Sutter store. Now they ran her out in 1963, And she came back for a little while. And the new commandant said, you're not coming here anymore. And they ended the Sutter store in 64. But I actually got the voice of the woman that run the Sutter store there.
That's cool.
Yes. And Dale Kazmarek, probably, I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He got one of the Union Guards voices and named the unit he was with. And it was one of the units that George Levy mentioned in his book because we had him on site doing a slideshow on his book.
Yeah, you can't dispute that, especially if you can back it up.
Yes, and it was already backed up because everybody saw the slideshow earlier. Of course, Chris is saying, what paranormal experience is the one you remember most?
Oh, good God. I've had some doozies. When it comes to the hall, though, so Next Gen Paranormal, they were with me, and there was a couple of the members. It was before a novice hunt, and we were going through the basement and unscrewing the motion sensor lights. And we're standing in the basement, and we're having a discussion, and we're like kind of standing in a circle talking to each other. And I feel something jab me in the eye, and my hand goes up, and I'm like, ow. And my eye, like I'm crying, like I've got tears coming down, and my eye is instantly red. And I was like, what happened? I was like, oh my God, it felt like somebody stabbed me in the eye. So they found out that night that, in fact, a soldier claimed that he's the one who did it. It happened to me a second time up on the main floor. And right after it happened, we immediately broke out spirit boxes, ovuluses, everything. And it was a soldier named Brett. And he actually came through on a team that was there one night. He said, I stabbed Beth.
Wow.
They didn't know anything about it. They were like, hey,
wow.
Interesting. Have you ever been stabbed? We know you're from Atlanta. I'm like, that's funny as hell. Just because I'm from Atlanta, I've been stabbed. I was like, no, I have been stabbed in the eye here. They're like, oh man, listen to this. And sure enough, it was his voice that we had heard before. I stabbed Beth.
Wow.
Yeah. I've actually seen Mary Elizabeth too. Bear and I saw Mary Elizabeth. We were working in the basement. We were closed one day, and we heard a little girl laugh, and we thought we heard the back door open. So we thought someone had come on the property. No one was there. So then we hear her again, and we look, and we see a little girl just running off into the winter kitchen. And we go in there, and of course I let him walk in first, and I peep around him, and there she is, full body apparition, long black hair, wearing a nightgown, and she screams, burst into flames, and then it just happened so quick, just ashes. And we talked about it on one of the TV shows. Yeah, that kind of I still don't even know how to process that one.
That would have had to have been awesome.
It messed me up for a minute. And those were, I had a lot of experiences as a child that I couldn't explain, and now I can.
Yeah, I saw spirits. They were Native American spirits moving around my parents' house when I was just a kid, and they lived just a couple of normal city blocks, not downtown Atlanta blocks.
Okay.
Just normal where you may have 4 houses in a row per block.
Right.
From a creek.
Oh,
and of course, Columbus is right there against it's the northernmost navigable part of the Chattahoochee River. So you've got all that water around there. And anywhere you had water, you had Native Americans.
Right. That's true, though. They needed a water source. and they
Yeah,
knew where animals would need a water source, so that's where they hunted.
exactly. Now, so the hall has been on TV. Yeah,
It has.
I can say yes, it has on several different occasions, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And we've been History Channel, Sci-Fi, Discovery Channel, you name it. The Hall has been on it. So far, and I'm very weird about paranormal TV, but I will give credit where credit is due to Brandon Alvis. Haunted Discoveries has been one of my favorite shows because there's no drama. It's very cut and dry. You get the history, you get their evidence, and they really did a good job the way that they did the show at the Hall.
So they kept it real professional for you.
Oh, they did, and my Bear was very happy with that. You know, we have to understand as yes, paranormal TV has been around for a long time, but um, they go to some of these locations and they're there for 10 days, and they hardly get anything. Then a lot of it is scripted. Um, we, you know, documentaries are among my favorite things to do other than um, because they tell the truth, they're real,
Right.
and that's what I like. The Hall was on an episode of the Dead Files. They've been on Nick Groff's Death, is it Death Walker? um,
I believe that's
uh,
right.
Ghost Hunters has been there. Jason Hawes, from what I understand, had a very interesting experience at Octagon Hall.
So you've been on TV quite a bit.
Yes.
Anything lately, or because most of that's kind of older?
Last year we did a show with the public TV station out here in Kentucky, uh, and then it was, I can't remember what year, but we haven't done a lot recently because we shut down, for the winter, and then
Right.
with Bear's passing in January, I've been taking things very slow. I didn't open up until March.
Oh, March of this year.
Yeah, because he passed away in January.
Right. Right. Because you got to have some time to get your head back on straight, and you
Yeah.
wrap around what's going on. You get your mind on something else finally.
Yeah, and it was
I
hard.
understand.
It was hard walking back through those doors without him.
I can
Um,
imagine.
he, a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, so that's your real dad?" No, he was not my biological father, but you couldn't have told him that I wasn't his child. Mama Bear all the time. She was like, "Yep, you're him made over," and I learned so much. A lot of us learned so much from him. He was a father figure to some of us. He was a brother, a mentor, a friend, and he loved the paranormal.
You were very fortunate and very blessed
Yes.
to have met him and come up under him.
Yes. And he prepared me and he taught me a lot. But the one thing, I've gotten several comments from people. Well, those are big shoes to fill. He never expected me to fill his shoes. He wanted me to step into exactly who I am and do what I'm capable of and what I love.
There you go. I was that way about Richard Crowe. He was top guy in Chicago
Yeah.
for many years. He used to sit there back in the 60s and 70s. He was the one that kind of put Baxter's Grove Cemetery on the map. Couldn't go in there at night, but there was a bridge nearby. He would sit there on the bridge and take photos of the interior of the cemetery.
People don't understand certain methods. Everybody has their, I don't want to call it a niche, but when we need to listen to people's ideas.
Yes. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'll have somebody else from a different point of view, Bill Hauser, on. And I don't know if you ever heard of him or not, but he does wonders with a spirit box.
I think I have I've heard his name, but I have not met him or anything or talked with him.
He's from Vancouver, and he,
Yes.
he 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 gets a lot of results out of a spirit box because he's tuned his ear for several years. I mean, a couple of decades to listen
And
to what amounts to a broken radio.
that takes dedication.
Yes. So you might want to tune in when I have him on the show.
Oh,
He
definitely.
wants. I had him on about 6 weeks ago, 5 6 weeks ago, uh, for just an interview. We just sat here like we're doing and talking.
Right.
But when he in a couple of weeks, uh, he will be maybe about 3 or 4 weeks later in July. He wants to do a ghost box session where we're just going to sit there, crank it up. How you doing, Bill? He'll say, "How you doing, Lynn? Let's get to it," and turn the spirit box on, and that's what we're going to do.
Oh yeah. I have fun with it. And you never know what you're going to get. People don't we not everybody understands that spirits have free will.
Yes, they do. Just like people.
Uh, they can come and go as they please, and they do. Some just don't want to bother with us because they're tired of hearing, uh, "Are you dead? Uh, when did you die? What uh, what color's your hair?" I
Yes,
mean, let's just talk to them. They were people. They're still people. The soul never dies.
exactly, and that's what we're talking about. Souls,
Yep. And
and that's
that's what I have to look at with people. Like I can talk to anybody, but I prefer to deal with people's souls, not the outside because they're not always forthcoming and a lot of people, my mission is to make people understand their soul, to love their soul. They can heal their soul. You heal the soul, you heal the body.
and I guess that's what you do with souls on blaze.
Yeah. And that's like I said, I'm very I have another nickname too. Before Soul on Blaze came around, like I said, I was very reclusive in the paranormal. I had never been on teams. I did everything on my own, and I started out. There were a couple of look as I put my head down. There were a couple of situations, so they started calling me the parathug.
You're a thug.
The parathug, even in Ireland. um, and there's people that actually own Parathug Nation T-shirts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I am different. There is not quite anyone like me in the paranormal. Um, I am very honest. My integrity means everything to me. Have I handled some situations the way I should have? Probably not, but I'm from Atlanta. What do people want me to say? We don't, I mean, we're different. We're different breed in Georgia. Um, and I love people. I love uh, seeing people do better for themselves and taking their spiritual health very seriously.
Okay. Uh, on your Wicked Woman Paranormal, I'm assuming that's some kind of group you've got going now.
Actually, I kind of retired her, but I'm still always around. I started Wicked Woman Paranormal to support women in the paranormal field. Not that I don't think men are important, but a little background. Miranda Young uh, has a huge part in my journey, especially with podcasting. Because I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I was made for it. And she had a talk with me, and she inspired me to do that, and that we should all support each other. And I wanted those women to be recognized for their commitment to historic preservation, their dedication to themselves as professionals. And there's a lot of women out there that have been overlooked, and I think they should be celebrated.
Oh, Miranda Young is an awesome person.
And Chris Sumner, honey, I could listen to her talk for days. I'm very fortunate to have them in my life. Miranda, actually, if anybody needs somebody to do a website for them, she did the website for the hall. She does have a business and she creates websites, and she's very good at what she does.
She's also pretty good on a motorcycle.
Oh yes, sir. That she's my hero. She's my hero. Um, and that's what it's all about for me. I have never been one to really promote myself, um, but I do have a lot of support from a lot of wonderful people. But I love to support others, and Dave Spinks. Dave Spinks has been around for a while, and he is a location owner. He has a new location in West Virginia that I got to go check out last month. Um, and it's a nice little spot. I wouldn't recommend large groups because it is a smaller house, but pretty active. We got some great evidence while we were there. He was the owner of Willow's Wheat up in Cayuga, Indiana, and that was a whole nother game. But he's a very responsible location owner, and
What's his website? No, no.
I don't. Well, it's is it Dave Spinks? I'll have to send that to you because I don't have it right off, or do I? He's got the Dave Spinks World of Weird, because he had a
Okay.
store. He had a store. Dave's got a lot of stuff coming out, and not just because I love him and he's my brother, but he's done something that I find very unique, and I love it.
What's that?
So he wrote some books of poetry. He's an author. He has lots of books, but he wrote poetry, and he turned the poetry into songs. And he has CDs out now, and they're all about his life and the paranormal, different aspects of the paranormal. And he wrote a song about Octagon Hall and Bear, and it's on his first CD. And he's got some stuff coming out. I'm very fortunate I got to hear it, and it's something for everybody, all different kinds of genres. Um, we have his CDs in our cars. We don't take them out. I probably know the whole damn thing by heart at this point. So yeah, he it's real supernatural or something, but he does have a website. He's doing a lot of speaking this year. I will be part of the Flatwood Monsters Convention in September out in West Virginia that he's doing. Um, I got a whole tour while I was up there. He took us to the Flatwoods Monster Museum. So yeah, West Virginia is kind of kicking too. Kentucky is not missing a beat, but West Virginia is very interesting.
You got any Paracons you're going to be attending?
That's the one in September for right now. Because like I said, I'm just getting everything put back together. And it's hard for me in late September and all through October because that's our busiest, fundraising season. But I do, and I guess I wasn't going to do it. I was going to put it out, and I still am in August. I'm doing a very large event at Octagon Hall next Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
It's called BearCon, and it is a tribute to Bear.
Okay. You just try to run a Paracon out of the building?
We're on 300 acres of land. So we're going to have speakers. We're going to have vendors, food trucks, and it'll be a couple of day event. And I should have everything set up for it to get the information out in August.
So that's next Memorial Day, of course, next year.
Yes, next year.
So be sure when you get your plans down, send my producer or me just a video or some just
I
talking about
definitely
what you're
will.
doing, or maybe a few photos of the place, and say exactly give us exact date and who's going
I
to be there.
will. I
All right.
will. I can't. Little sneak peek. My girls are going to be there. So,
Okay.
and
I imagine Miranda's going to be there.
she will. And Chris, Dave Spinks will be there. Serenity Jenny will be there. And Angel Lee is coming as well.
Impressive. That's going
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting.
Well, those are people that Bear touched their lives and they touched his. And I think it's fitting that it's those people that want to uh, pay their respects because I was going to do, me and Mama Bear were going to do a public memorial, but I decided it was Barry Gaunt. Let's do it in Bear fashion. So I want those people to be able to talk about how the hall has affected their life, how Bear affected their life, and what part of their journey the hall had to do with their supernatural.
All right. You have internet available at the hall.
We do. It's a pain in the ass, to be honest, because it is in the country. But yeah, I do have internet access for people because I don't want someone to be stuck out there and their phones don't work.
Right. Uh,
Um,
Chris Harley said, "I'll keep lookout for the info to be a part of it."
Thank you very much. And I'm about to start podcasting again. I was wanting to do radio, um, but I won't do like I did when I started out doing 5 shows a week with different people. That's exhausting.
I get tired of doing one show a week. So I
Yeah.
can't imagine trying to do five.
Well,
Now Sean here, he does a lot of that.
it was dedication. I'm too old for that crap now. But I'm thinking about doing a show live from the hall.
That would be cool. And see, that's what I would like to do if I came in there with if you maybe Sean here team up with me, maybe Letriana will come in. You and her getting together would be interesting.
Oh, I would love that. You let me know when you want to do that, and we'll make it happen.
And Gwen and Sean here, that's a great bunch of people there, very talented, very smart people, and to get us all together in Octagon Hall would be absolutely amazing. Of course, I'd
Absolutely.
want to be doing the whole thing live.
We might be able to do that because when I'm there, we do allow live. We have only a couple people that are allowed to go live, but hey, let's make it happen. I would enjoy that.
Well, it'd all be one big commercial for Octagon Hall.
We'd all have a good time. Well, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You got any questions for our guest, Sean?
One of the things I gotta say I respect a lot because I do it myself is when you said your integrity and your word and how you do things, and that's everything, and that's the way I do things as well. And I'd rather have a lot of legitimate evidence than something that's been faked or pulled or etc. So yeah, I respect that.
And that's how we should all be. Um, it's not a competition. And one thing I will say, you could have the holy grail of evidence. Someone is going to dispute it.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Um, I'll be the first one to say I am not a scientific investigator. I am more from the spiritual side of things. I believe the best tool you can have is your body
yes.
and a
Agree.
voice recorder. Um, and you know, it's a personal thing. It's not like I don't do live readings because I believe that's a personal thing. I will do like little card pulls if I'm
Mhm.
on a show, but readings are very personal. Why would I tell somebody something they don't want the world to know?
Exactly.
So that's another thing. It comes with integrity, and I do not drink. I do not see clients that have been drinking. I do not believe in investigating why you're drinking. I believe it's very dangerous.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that a whole lot. And the fact, like I said, even when I do lives at locations, what you see is what you get. So it's not been
Right.
contaminated. So you see exactly what I'm seeing. And if you got questions, you can always feel free to ask right when they're doing the lives right there too. So
Right. Right. I mean, but I would enjoy doing something like that. So let's definitely get together and talk about that some more in the future.
sounds like it came planned to me.
Electriana is from South Carolina, which is the other side of you from me. But
Right.
Arkansas is not that far from where you're talking about, barely in Kentucky from Tennessee. And
Right.
it'd be a short run for Gwen Electriana to get there, and not that much further for me.
Hey, and I might stop and see you because I'll be going through Arkansas. I've got to go out to Texas here soon, and I like to make my stop in Thackerville, Oklahoma, because I'm a huge fan of the WinStar Casino.
Hey, we got a couple of good casinos here.
And I haven't. Well, no, I did. I went to the one in West Memphis, but I haven't been to any of the others.
You got the Saracen that's in Pine Bluff.
I haven't been to that one. Lynn, stop telling me these things. And see, I have a great love for Texas. My other half, he's from Fort Worth, and I started investigating out there as well. And I will say one of my favorite locations in Texas was Old Park Hotel. Dan and Connie were amazing owners of that location, and I had the best times with them.
That's cool. You gave them a shout out.
Well, they sold it.
Really?
And yeah, I hated to hear that, but I understand the journey can. Hey, look, I don't even own the hall. I just run it. And I'm just like, oh my God, what kind of life am I living? It's great, but I want all people to understand. I watched Bear run it for many, many years. He and Billy Bird, were best friends, like more like brothers. And now I know they're in heaven smoking cigars and cigarettes, drinking bourbon, watching me and Isaac going, look at those kids trying to keep it together. Um, but it's, people think it's a glorious thing when you own or run a location. Hey, man, serious people put in a lot of work. We're volunteers at Octagon Hall. We are not funded. We do our own fundraising, and it's a labor of love. You have to love what you're doing. You have to love history to want to do that. And that's another thing, just like Chris and Miranda, and I give them credit where credit is due. They made me more aware and more involved in after dark tourism. So I want to help other people with historical locations that are trying to get the help they so desperately need. They're struggling, and teach them about after dark tourism and how it can benefit these historic locations.
There's money to be made out there.
Yeah.
The old rectory in Cincinnati.
Oh, don't.
They
Oh
were
my God.
they were trying to rebuild the place and fix it up back nice, but from a near ruined structure, and they built it by having paranormal groups come in there,
Did
and they got
they
it finished.
sell it again? I knew it was for sale a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Um, did they ever resell that?
I have not heard, because they had a Catholic priest come through, supposedly run all the spirits out of there
I remember
and
that.
cleansed it, so they could have historical tours there only. If you said the word paranormal, they were going to ask you to leave.
I got
No
news for
paranormal
them.
equipment was allowed.
There ain't no cleansing that place. There ain't no cleansing
Mm-mm.
Cincinnati.
No.
So
With the dog fighting that went on in the basement, the little gifts, I should say, left on the front door stoop.
Yep.
Specifically, a baby and a dead body.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Some of these places are like I'm not interested in going at all. Like everybody's got a bucket list. I mean, of course, my bucket list is Scotland, but here in the United States, it's Trans-Allegheny.
That's a major location.
It's
I was one of the early people to do the rectory.
That yep, we're gonna have a private talk about that.
I knew a paranormal group that went in there, and they got screwed up in the place. In fact, I knew 2 paranormal groups that got screwed up there. One of them left the rectory and then come up to a place that I was working, didn't own the place. I was giving tours of the place after night, like you're talking about, after dark, and it was haunted by a mob figure. It's in Chicago,
right?
And they ran into the mob figure a week after doing the rectory. And that group soon after that completely dissolved.
Well, I say this all the time, and Bear said it too. It ain't for everybody. And my favorite thing to say about it is it's no fun when the rabbit's got the gun.
Yes, that's true.
But like I said, I've been very blessed to be surrounded by great people that have made my journey very interesting. And, the Black Wolf came a long way. We never thought the Black Wolf would grow like it is. And Todd and Leanne are doing a wonderful job out at Bell Witch. Denise and Ernie, they have their house is a location up in West Point, Kentucky. We all did Waverly together. We ran deep, and we've seen a lot. And Night Stalkers, man, Night Stalkers I'm very blessed to have Billy Sims and Tanya Sims as my family and my teammates.
We're talking about a lot of great people and a lot of great locations right there.
Yeah, and you got to love what you do. And I always, people get real irritated with me because I'm like, hey, you need to be careful. Oh, why are you so worried, Beth? Hey, man, look, this is not fun and games.
No.
Investigating is not something to be taken lightly. And I need people to always remember one very important thing. If they can't get to you, they'll get to your family and those you love.
Yes, they will.
Yep.
So
I had an attachment for several months, and she came back when I was doing an Echovox session a couple of weeks ago. I had to get rude to get rid of her again.
Right. No, and people don't think that's real. I'm here to tell people. I've seen people walk into a location and they get through the door and they immediately hit the floor. If you're very sensitive to energy, you better know how to ground, you better know how to block, and you better know how to protect yourself.
I agree. I definitely agree with that 100%. I mean, I've done Reiki and I've done shaman stuff as well, and grounding is a major player.
Oh, yes.
And what I do, I just throw up a brick wall mentally.
Right.
And if something comes at me, poop, throw at the brick wall, and
right.
I kind of get left out because it blocks everything I'm trying to feel in a location. But if the situation calls for it, I bring it up.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate meaning of talk to the hand.
Exactly.
Just stay back, but. Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I would like to talk to y'all. That would be an interesting thing to go down at the hall.
So, Sean, we'll have to talk to Latrina and Gwen about this.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. Well,
And
we can talk. We can talk a little bit of it back.
We definitely want to know when you're going to have your Paracon.
I'll keep y'all posted. My hope is to have everything released in August. I take it very seriously. People try to throw events together in 3 months. I started doing this 2 months ago. So I want to make sure everything is perfect.
Exactly. Now, what did you want to say, Sean?
I was going to say we can talk a little more backstage. We've actually been about a half hour over, and I was letting you go because you guys have had a great conversation going. So
sorry, I run my mouth a lot.
It's all right.
Sean, you got 2 people from Georgia. Georgians are known to have big, loud mouths and will talk forever about
and
stuff.
Everybody is, and we're all related.
Yeah, like I said, I know the conversation was going really well, so I let it go. So, but like I said, we've about a half hour over. But yeah, it was.
Gwen usually lets me go at least 90 minutes, and we're working fast on 90 minutes.
Well, thank you for the 90 minutes. I appreciate it.
Beth, it's been an actual pleasure talking with you. And one more time, where can people find you? Where's the best place to find you?
That would be octagonhallmuseum.com or our Facebook page for Octagon Hall or Beth Allen Facebook page.
All right. And they'll find out about the Wicked Woman Paranormal and the Souls on Blaze.
Yep, they're all going to be encompassed on one page because I cannot deal with another Facebook page.
I can understand that. Their one's bad enough.
Well, admin on 10.
Is there anything you'd like to end with, Beth?
I just thank y'all very much for having me on, so I could get back in the saddle again. It means a lot to me. I took some time off after Bear passed, and now he's kicking me in my ass from the other side, telling me to get busy. So I appreciate you all having me on. I really enjoyed myself.
We appreciate having you. And anytime we'll have to do it again. And we definitely, if you get that Paracon, we're going to do it a couple of times again, just to advertise that Paracon.
Let's do it.
All right.
So, I'm going to set you backstage here, Beth, and stay with us for a little bit, and we're going to close out the show.
Been a pleasure, Beth. Have a good night. And remember, paranormal never sleeps.
I have to say one thing, Len. That was a great show. You guys did a hell of a job there.
Thanks.
So I do got a couple commercials I'm going to run here real quick. And one is the Paranormal Rockdown. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Rock it.
Join us for the Paranormal Rockdown. We kick off the event Friday, July 18th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Main Street Music in Brooklyn, Wisconsin, where we feature bands Left on Red, Switchblade Saturdays, Etched in Embers, Fiction We Create, January, Again We Rise, and our headliner, Green Jelly. Saturday, July 19th, starting at 11 a.m. at Broadhead Manor in Broadhead, Wisconsin, we have our Paracon featuring Dave Schrader, Sam Beltrusis, Scotty Rourke, Dustin Perry via Zoom, Sarah Lamos, Nick Simons, Kenneth Drake, Stream Beacon TV, Dark Realm TV, and over 30 more great guests you won't want to miss. We have over 40 vendors, speakers, workshops, gallery readings, and so much more. A special thank you goes out to each of our sponsors. Get your tickets before they sell out at paranormalrockdown.com, and we hope to see you at the Paranormal Rockdown.
And also, one more, the All Access TV Network.
Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely check out All Access Network Television. We have a lot of great shows on here. And also, Len, you got any last words to say before we go off the air?
I've just about done it. That was a fantastic interview with Beth Allen. Got a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
good information. Found out about she's working on a Paracon for next year. So it'd be very good to get here some more information about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a whole bunch of fun to get several of us from All Access Network TV there at the same time to do a ghost hunt. And you heard the hours for her ghost hunts.
That sounds awesome. That
That
definitely
would,
does sound awesome.
yeah. We're running around like Michael Goatman, archaeologist. Let me get something to eat. Give me a Slim Jim or a sandwich or something.
Yeah, most definitely. I do know one thing. You do have one more thing to say. You got a show tomorrow night, don't you?
Yes, just a little bitty rock down related show having Mason Meyer on. And for those who not familiar with the name, he's the one who owns the venue where the rock bands will be played. He's a singer, songwriter, has his own band, and that's at the venue where he will be hosting, of course, the rock portion on Friday night for the Paranormal Rock Down. I believe starting advance, we're going to kick off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I believe that you're going to go to 11 o'clock at night. Now, which means you can watch some of the bands and go back and to Broadhead Manor and do the mini ghost hunts that they now have on Friday night.
Yeah.
Or you can, for that time, or you can go from one to the other, or you can just stay there and listen to rock and roll all night and just do the ghost hunts on Saturday night.
Yeah, sounds great. I know that I have actually had a chance to investigate Broadhead Manor, and it is a great place to investigate.
So. After Mason Meyer next week, I have my birthday show. Thomas Patrick Gormley and I will be having a little bit of fun, and he is what we're going to do. We're going to have a couple of drinks. We're just going to be a couple old drinking buddies having a good time, and he is going to bring some of his guests from the Connecticut Paracon that you run the ad for at the first of the show.
Yeah, sounds good.
So that's going to be dedicated to that. The 10th of July, Matthew Willis. He is the official photographer for the Paranormal Rockdown. He is going to be offering deals where if a group wants some group shots of inside a particular room in Broadhead Manor, he will do that for you. Whether it's out there during the Paracon with somebody else in the background or however they want it, he's going to be offering that. He's going to be walking around with his camera, offering his photography services. And we'll be talking on the 10th exactly what he's going to be offering. Of course, right after the Rock Down is the John Dillinger show that I'm working with Thomas on. He says he's got a couple of friends in Chicago. We're going to put them in the alleyway on the anniversary of the killing of John Dillinger in the alley, which has a great big John Dillinger mural on the wall looking down at the spot where he fell when he was shot. And I'm going to be doing that from here. I've got a copy of Manhattan Melodrama. I'll be playing some excerpts from it. So that's what. And then, as I mentioned during the show, Bill Hauser on the 24th, we will be doing Spirit Box sessions with Bill Hauser, and Gwen will be not in the background; she'll be in the foreground because to do what Bill Hauser wants to do is going to take 3 people, and it should be interesting doing a Spirit Box session with 3 people in 3 different locations.
It's going to be an awesome show. Definitely check it out. And we will see you. Me and Len will see you tomorrow night. And you everyone have a great night.
Tomorrow night.
Night, guys.